Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. What's up, guys? It's been a little while since I made a video, about 2 weeks. I wasn't meaning to go this long, but I was sick last week, so I couldn't make this video. So I'm making it now. I'm glad to be back. In this video, inshallah, I'm going to talk about my experience of what it's like to be a Muslim in the United States. So if you don't know, the United States is a pretty secular country, not a Muslim country at all, by any means. So it's a little bit weird being like a minority. I'm not used to being a minority because, beforehand I was just a white Christian guy. That was what everyone else was. But now I'm part of a minority in a sense, like 2% of the population. So it's a little bit interesting. I'm going to explain some stories that I had of what it's like being in that position. So if you see my other videos, you guys know I became a Muslim about a year and a half ago. About a month before I did, sorry, I got a notification. About a month before I did, I had got into a Christian school, somewhat Christian school. Pretty much everyone was Christian, the teacher was Christian, and some of the material was like related to Christianity, which was fine at the time because my parents had signed me up knowing I was a Christian. But after a month of that, I reverted. So now I was stuck in this class for 2 semesters as a Muslim, and I'm pretty sure I was the only Muslim there, although I didn't ask everybody, but based on what I knew, I was the only Muslim there in a Christian school. And here's where things started to get a little bit interesting. No one would really suspect that I was a Muslim. Like, imagine you're just going to a Christian school, there's just this guy, just a normal guy. Like, you're not going to think he's a Muslim. And I think that's also part of like me being like an American, a white American. People don't assume that I'm Muslim until they ask. Whereas if you like are an Arabian, they kind of already have that Islamic package attached to you. But it's different for me. It's like they're thinking I'm just a normal Western guy, and then once they figure out I am Muslim, it's like a big shock. Right. So knowing that, at first I really didn't want anyone to know, which is weird, but we'll talk about it a little bit. And I think if there's any reverts watching, you might relate to this. You kind of almost hide it for some reason. Like, you don't want people to know because it's embarrassing. Which, looking back at it now, it shouldn't be embarrassing. And Alhamdulillah, no longer, it's not really embarrassing anymore, or at least not nearly as much as it was back then. And I remember for like the entire 2 semesters, no one figured out that I was a Muslim except for like one guy I think I told. They never figured it out, which was funny. Because I had been hiding it essentially. And I was always dreading the question of like when they were going to ask me what church should I go to, and then I would have to explain. I was always dreading that question. And looking back, I was kind of a little bit weirded out. Like, why was I scared to admit that I was Muslim? And I think it's just part of what happens when you, I don't know, when you take on something new. But yeah, I guess it was kind of in an opposing environment in a sense. So I didn't want that to be revealed. But anyway, so basically, it was an interesting experience because there's certain things like in that particular group that they would do that would be haram. So for example, one of my friends, I don't know if he's watching this. If he is, hello. I wish you the best. This is nothing against you. I'm just sharing the story. You wouldn't have any idea that it even happened anyway. But basically, they had like a prom event, which is where you do like the dancing thing. And I had always really wanted to go to those. Growing up, I really wanted to do that. But like obviously it's haram to do like a prom event. So I was really tempted to still go, right? Because I really wanted to go to that. But I declined it. I said I'm not going to go. And that was actually pretty hard for me to do. Because I had always wanted to go to like a dance, which is kind of funny. I don't know why, but I really wanted to do that. Uh, but it would definitely be haram. I mean, you'd be, the stuff that happens there. I'm not going to go into detail, but uh, yeah. And I basically told him like, I can't do that. That's uh, I can't do that. I'm forbidden to do that. Basically, I told him I had some religious changes. So that was, one thing that happened. And it's interesting because when you become a Muslim, you start to see how much haram. Sorry, the sun's in my eyes. How much haram is just everywhere. Like it's so implemented into the culture. Before I was Muslim and I was Christian, I didn't see it. Like I didn't see sin everywhere I looked, but now I do see it all over the place because it's become so normalized. And that was a huge change in perspective, like how the culture has become, like sin has become so normalized in the culture, especially American culture. Like 99% of it is haram, like going out and drinking with your friends and uh, like free mixing and stuff like that. It's really really implemented into the culture. So I had to basically back down from that. And this video is going to be somewhat short. I don't see the need to make it too long. And there's other stories I have. This was just one of the stories. But basically, like being a Muslim in the United States, it's kind of like going against the tide in a way. Everything is pushing you against your beliefs, but you still have to stand strong against. You still have to stick to your beliefs. And some people struggle with that. They're like, how, well, I want to do those things even if they're wrong. And I just found like something that helps me is all the fun or whatever it is you want to do. If you do it or not, it's already been decided. And just know like you'll have your moments of enjoyment in life. They'll come eventually. Even if it's not right now, And even if it never happens in your life, then oh sorry, I'm getting a message. Then at least you'll die knowing that you were pleasing God, your creator. And you'll get the reward in the afterlife. You'll get that enjoyment in the afterlife, inshallah. So yeah. Um, Comment down below if this resonated with you. Share your stories. Um, always recommend any video ideas you have for me. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much all I really want to say. Um, have a good week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.